We should not be mistaken to say 2010 has left its mark in Azerbaijan history for the violation of freedom of speech, freedom of press, freedom of assembly, freedom of election and property rights. Namely, the expectations for increase of political activity and even for partial ensuring of freedom of assembly, freedom of speech in the country in 2010 with regard to parliamentary elections proved wrong. Early days of 2010 was marked for new charge brought against Enullah Fatullayev, editor-in-chief of Gündalik Azerbaijan and Realna Azerbaijan newspapers. Specifically, on the 29th of December 2009, 223 grams of heroin was reportedly found in Fatullayev in prison number 12, and on the 6th of July 2010, Fatullayev was found guilty under Article 234.1, illegal possession of narcotics in an amount exceeding the limit for personal consumption of the Criminal Code. Fatullayev and his lawyer believed that this incident was a setup organized so that the court could avoid complying with the decision of the European Court of Human Rights regarding the journalist's release. In April, the European Court of Human Rights issued long-expected decision. Namely, on the 22nd of April 2010, the European Court issued a decision regarding the threatening terror and other charges which led to 8 years 5 months in jail for Fatullayev. According to the decision, Fatullayev should be released immediately and the Azerbaijani government should pay 27,822 euros to Fatullayev in compensation. The plenum of Supreme Court partially fulfilled this decision on November 11th. However, the Supreme Court judgment was completely changed later. On December 28th, the Supreme Court decided not to fulfill Fatulayev's appeal against 5th November 2010 decision of Appeals Court, which sentenced him to pre-trial detention. 2010 is also marked for lack of measures for finding the murderers of the Monitor magazine editor-in-chief Edmar Huseynov killed on March 2, 2005, and the orderers of the murder. Even it became clear that the investigatory bodies have actually deceived the community with false statements. Namely, the Deputy Prime Minister of Georgia, Georgi Baramidze, dismissed reports that late editor-in-chief of Monitor magazine Elmar Huseynov was murdered by Georgian citizens, or Azerbaijani authorities have sent an official appeal to Georgia regarding the issue. In his interview to Radio Liberty, Baramidze said that it was the first time he had heard about these suspicions. I hadn't been aware of this issue till just now. Indeed, I had never heard anything about it. But rest assured the Georgian government will not harbor any criminal, be it the murderer of a journalist or an ordinary citizen. It is not possible. Given the close and honest relationship between our two countries, it is difficult to imagine such behavior, he said. In his interview to Azerbaijan newspaper on 19 March 2010, National Security Minister Eldar Mahmudov said 6 motions have been sent to Georgian authorities regarding the arrest and extradition of the murderers of the journalists Tahir Kubanov and Teymuraz Aliyev. However, the national legislation and procedures impede the fulfillment of the motions. 2010 is also marked for release of Azadlık newspaper editor-in-chief Ganimat Zahid and young bloggers Emin Milli and Adnan Hajizadeh, who were imprisoned under trumped-up charges. 2010 is also marked for release of Azadlık newspaper editor-in-chief Ganimat Zahid and young bloggers Emin Milli and Adnan Hajizadeh, who were imprisoned under trumped-up charges. On 17 March, he was pardoned under a pardon decree signed by Azerbaijan Republic President Ilham Aliyev. Ganimat Zahid was convicted under Articles 127.2.3, hooliganism with intentional infliction of minor bodily harm, and 221, hooliganism of the Criminal Code, and imprisoned for a total of 4 years. With the view to ease the international criticism after the falsified 7th November parliamentary elections, the Appeals Court released Adnan Hajizadeh on 18 November and Emin Milli on 19 November. On 8 July 2009, at approximately 8 p.m., Emin Milli and Adnan Hajizadeh were sitting at a table in Lebanese restaurant along with several other young adults when 2 people who looked like sportsmen came up to them and attacked them. Milli and Hajizadeh were both physically injured in the attack. Although they appealed to the police as victims, the police detained Milli and Hajizadeh as suspects for 48 hours but freed the attackers. On 11 November 2009, the court sentenced Milli to 2 years 5 months and Hajizadeh to 2 years in prison. On 10 March 2010, the Baku Appellate Court adopted a decision to uphold the verdict of the Sabail District Court. Local and international organizations believe that they were imprisoned for the satirical video clip titled Interview with Donkey, which criticized the Azerbaijani state officials. International and local observers believe that 2010 parliamentary elections were the most fraudulent elections in Azerbaijani history. As a result of these elections, the real opposition failed to enter the parliament. For example, Musavat party leader of Isagamber, one of the most prominent oppositional leaders, was reportedly defeated by Itibar Husseinov, TV present in a program on Leader TV, which carried out smear campaign against the opposition. Throughout the year, all the protest meetings of the oppositional forces were dispersed by police. A great number of protesters faced administrative punishments. The oppositional representatives' opportunities to meet with the voters were restricted. Their only opportunity to access TV broadcasting was the 4 minutes free airtime allocated for candidates on public TV. The monitoring held by the Institute for Reporters' Freedom and Safety and Media Monitoring Institute showed that during the election period, the local TV channels focused on coverage of ruling Yeni Azerbaijan Party chairman and current President Ilham Aliyev and other ruling party representatives. The biggest fraudery was committed on the voting day. Piles of ballot papers were placed in the ballot boxes. Same persons voted several times on the voting day. Unlike the previous years, 2010 was also marked for total violation of citizens' rights to property. With regard to construction of so-called Winter Park, residents of a large area in the center of Baku were forced to leave their houses, which were designed to be pulled down. Moreover, on May 7, 2007, over 20,000 houses, 110,000 hectares of farming areas river in central low-lying lands of Azerbaijan were engulfed by floods in the Kur River. In fact, there was need for construction of 3,205 new houses, substantial repair of 3,222 houses, and restoration measures in 700 houses. However, the government hasn't publicized yet how many houses were built or repaired, or the amount of compensation paid to sufferers. As for taken measures, 2 settlements were built for the flood sufferers. These settlements were built for the residents of Telitli and Allahmadatli villages of Imishli region and Novruzlu village of Sadli region. There is no available information on the amount of funds allocated for construction of those settlements or the companies which built these settlements. Finally, on December 29, 2010, President Ilham Aliyev signed a pardon decree. The decree didn't include the names of imprisoned journalist Enullah Fatullayev and political prisoner Ruslan Bashirli, arrested in 2005.